Hello, Arizona. I'm Lyle Rapacki reporting for Prescott E-News in Prescott, Arizona. And this is a special edition of Arizona Today. It's Arizona Today, but we're going to call it the Copper Edition because in the next year, we're going to be meeting candidates who are running for office in Arizona. Now, we deal with national security issues and other issues, the audit issues, you know all that. But we're now going to do a special segment of Arizona Today dealing specifically with candidates running for office in Arizona. And we have one here today, Senator Dave Livingston, who is now announced for the treasurer's position in the state of Arizona. So, Senator, you are officially a candidate.
I'm in.
You're in. Okay, so running for state treasurer, we're going to ask some questions that I think you would want to know as a candidate. Why are you running? Why are you removing yourself from the Senate, which you've done very well and you've done very successful, and you're now choosing to run for a statewide office as the treasurer of Arizona?
Yeah. With Dr. Lyle, I've always been the money guy down at the Capitol and the budget guy and the insurance guy. I've had great relationships with the three treasurers that I've worked with in the House and Senate. Governor Ducey when he was treasurer, Jack DeWitt when he was treasurer, and Kimberly Yee when she was treasurer. One of the things none of them did that's something I want to do, none of them ran for 2 terms. All of them went for 1 term and went to something else. For me, this is the job I've always wanted. In the perfect scheme of things, I want to be treasurer for 8 years. Now I have to win the first time, and I have to do a great job to have the opportunity to run the second time. But that's what I'm planning to do.
Okay, so I'm hearing you say, Senator, that this is something you've always wanted to do, and you're a money guy, and probably have never written an NSF check. I could do that. I could work the NSF division of it because I've run it. Okay, why should the people of Arizona listen and consider you over any other candidate?
Mm-hmm. So my previous background was a financial advisor. And as a financial advisor for 2 decades, one of the things I did is I took the gentleman's wallet or the lady's purse and they handed it to me. And I said, when you get to retirement, I'm going to return that to you and I'm going to have $100 bills overflowing out of it. That same concept applies to state government and local governments. When we are managing money, we want to return it in a better way than we started. And that's what I've always done my whole life.
Now, there are several states in the United States that are in serious economic trouble. California, Washington, New York. Okay, we just go down the list. And
typically Democrat states.
Very socialist states, run by socialists. You are now proposing to step up and be the chief financial advisor as the treasurer of Arizona.
Yep.
How do you today, and this is difficult, and folks, I'm asking a difficult question, and I'm going to tell you on record that I fully respect that it could change your answer in 6 months because things change.
Yep.
Okay, and so this is not a trick question, it's not, and it's not going to be 6 months from now, we got you because 6 months ago you said this. Not at all. I'm setting it up this way on purpose because I'm interested in, as a financial specialist, both in the House of Representatives and the state Senate, and now running for treasurer, how do you see the near future financially for the state of Arizona compared to California, Oregon, Washington?
So let me tie this into what we did for the budget. A year ago, there were predicted huge shortages, $1 billion plus shortages. And I went to my members and people that know, and I say, no, guys, you're counting this wrong. We'll have a surplus. We'll have a surplus of over $1 billion, and maybe even 2. And frankly, some of the folks were really surprised I went out like that. And guess what? I was a little bit wrong. Instead of $1 to $2 billion surplus, it was $4 billion surplus. I was the only one in our state government that predicted anything close to that. And I don't have a magic wand. It was looking at everything. And the reason Arizona is doing so well is in the last 10 years, we've set up to hire people, to grow people, to recruit companies coming in from all over the world to do business here in Arizona. Our sales tax revenue is growing like crazy. The people moving into Arizona is growing like crazy. All of those factors increases state revenues. and it has exploded in a positive way.
Do you see the same happening? And again, I'm not setting you up. Ladies and gentlemen, in 6 months, your answer may have to be different.
Yeah.
Okay, and I'm saying that for the record. Okay, so this is not a trick, and 6 months from now, you're not going to be quoted saying, well, this is what you, okay. But what I'd like to ask is, 6 months from now, do you see that growth pendulum still moving as you predicted these last few months for this budget?
Yep. Today, right now in July,
Yeah.
I do.
Okay.
And I do because we're already projecting over $200 million surplus per month over the budget we enacted, which projected pretty high in the next year.
Wait a minute, 200, do that again.
$200 million surplus per month.
For the next fiscal year?
Well, I think maybe. I think
okay.
I
It's
do have
okay.
some concerns. I'm concerned with the Biden administration. I'm really concerned about inflation, and I'm really concerned about the federal government spending too much money. That will all have a negative effect on the economy, which will really hurt California and Illinois,
Yeah.
but could slow down Arizona's growth.
Okay, well, again, I'm not tricking you, and we're not going to quote you 6 months from now, but I'm fascinated by what you've said to us before. And if you haven't seen this, go back and look at the Copper State editions here where the senator has talked about, correct me now if I get, because I learned something. Senator Livingston talked about being the chief financial advisor to cities, counties. I did not know that in the role as the state treasurer, that he sees his role partly as a chief financial advisor to cities, counties, and the state, and to help cities, counties, and states to flourish financially.
But there's also something, if I could tie it together for what I just said. One of the questions that should be asked is if we have another $1 billion surplus,
Okay.
or $2 billion surplus, which is possible, the real question is, what should the next governor do with it? What should the House and the Senate do with that? Now, I will be in the Senate for 1 more year, so I will influence that. For me, the question is easy. Pay down debt. The faster we can pay down debt, the better it is for the state of Arizona, the better it is for her citizens.
I'm going to push you on this because I'm intrigued. Do you foresee, by your own forecasting and professional knowledge, do you see the state of Arizona over these next months, per month, improving its financial situation?
I do.
Okay.
I think we passed the biggest tax cut ever in the last budget. Even though it is implemented over 4 years, every business in the country knows we passed it. So when they are looking to relocate, it elevates Arizona above other states. Frankly, we are competing against Texas. We need to beat them wherever we can. They have 0 income tax. We're at 2.5%, which is pretty good. But we have a lot of things they don't have too. And I think we can compete with them. They know we're strong. They know we're in a great financial position. So we just have to keep that rolling.
And that helps the little guy?
It helps everybody because you can't help the little guy at the expense of everybody else.
Oh, okay.
You have to, in the tax
That
cut
makes
we
sense,
did,
yeah.
everybody got a tax cut. If you paid the most money, you probably got the biggest tax cut.
Okay.
If you paid the least amount of money in taxes, you probably got the smallest tax cut. But we designed it that everybody got something.
Now, one of the things that I've been tracking, not as a financial specialist, are these handouts, I'm calling it, from the Biden administration. They're unemployment handouts. They're, I don't know what all the names are, but it seems like almost every week another $1,400 is being put into everybody's bank accounts.
Yeah.
I'm being a little...
I know you are.
Okay, but that's got to hurt, I would think. I'm not a financial guy like you are, Senator, but that's got to hurt, giving away free money.
You are. So Dr. Lau, it hurts. And where it hurts most is 2 things. Small businesses in Arizona and first-time job seekers. We have a shortage of workers, believe it or not, even though we have people moving into Arizona.
Yeah.
And so the governor did rescind the extra $300 a month. This month is the first month it stopped. So what's going to happen, those people are not going to get it. So they have an incentive now to go back to work. Before they had an incentive to stay at home. And frankly, that's not acceptable.
Evidence, I'm sorry, I'm not politically correct. You've known me a long time. they have an incentive to go back to work. That's the insanity of what's happened to our nation. So
It is. And you and I are very similar that we are both workaholics. I love working. I love being busy. I love making a difference. Unfortunately, not everyone does.
No, it's brilliant. And yeah, that's interesting that you brought that up. In my travels around Arizona, just in the last 6 months, I'm just staying in that realm because the Biden administration took over fraudulently, in my opinion, 6-7 months ago. People aren't working. And businesses are in trouble. They can't get workers. And if they do get a worker, they leave after a day or two. They go, I don't want to work.
Yeah. One of the best examples of that is if you go in any restaurant right now,
Yeah,
it will be busy, but they will have a section closed off or a couple of tables, and you say, well, why can't I sit there? And the answer is,
No workers.
we don't have support staff that can take your order and deliver it there, and we can't cook enough food for every table here because we don't have enough employees. It's slowly improving, but the employers are saying we need people now. So the government has to help that. We have to tell people it is an honorable thing to do, to go to work every day, to raise a family, to make a difference. That sense of purpose is so important.
That's fascinating to hear a state leader say something like that. I don't mean that in a negative way, Senator. We've come a long way in a negative sense, in my opinion, that we now have to have that reminded to us. Yeah.
Some of us were raised that way.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
apparently not everyone.
No, it's sad. As a state treasurer, chief financial advisor, okay, I'm fascinated by that. I did not know some of this until you started to discuss it. I really did not. What would you say is really your number one priority? You become treasurer tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock. What would you say is your number one, and I'm going to say daily. Daily is your priority.
Daily is a great way to look at it because we manage money daily for the state of Arizona. We manage money daily for every county and every city in Arizona.
I did not know.
So one of the important things is you're the manager of managers in a way.
Okay.
You're managing the investment people at the state of Arizona. You are sitting in the boardroom. They're giving you updates. They're giving you briefings, financial briefings, not security briefings, and they're telling you what's happening. And then they're asking, say, should we do this or should we do that? And the treasurer has to say the buck stops here, and say turn left to turn right. And you know me, I usually go right, but it's making the right decision and understanding the facts and the circumstances around that. But sometimes, as you know, also you have to admit when you make a mistake. And you have to readjust the boat a little bit and change directions again. The state is on a great path right now. So part of the next treasurer's job is going to be keeping us on that path. It's going the right way. Everybody says we're doing great. It's doing it. It's fine-tuning little things here and there.
Well, let me finish with this question. This is a tough one, so I'll give you 30 seconds to think about it. Starting now.
Uh-oh.
Why should I vote for you? Why should, no, I'm serious, because on behalf of people who can't ask you that yet, although they're going to you have a year to meet the senator and to listen to him. But right now, on behalf of our fellow Arizonans who may not have the chance to meet with you today or next week or for a month or so, why should I vote for you? You've talked about money. You've talked about being the budgetary process. You've talked about being chairman. I mean, you got blah, blah, blah. No, I don't mean that disrespectfully. I've known him a long time. But we could have 10 other people in here doing the same thing.
Yeah. So I would love to meet every citizen in the state that's going to vote. Unfortunately, that's almost impossible. I do have a website, davidlivingston.vote, V-O-T-E, so they can go there. I'm constantly updating that. But why me? Because it's a technical job, the Treasury. It's an administration job. You need somebody that understands numbers, frankly, that loves numbers, kind of geeky almost, numbers. I don't mind admitting that. I'm really good at numbers, and I have been my whole life. You want somebody that's a specialist to do a specialist job. You don't want somebody who's never managed money to manage money. It's really a unique role. And we have another role similar in the state. We have a mining commissioner. I know nothing about mining. I wouldn't apply to that. But you want somebody who understands mining. We are the copper state. So that's really important. That's just not me. But if we're talking money, and you're talking managing money, and talking the treasurer's job, that's me. And it has been my whole life.
Well, I'm not running against you because 2 and 2 could be 3 or 5 for me. So I'm not a technical guy and money guy, and you probably sit with a calculator, don't you? You do all that sort of stuff.
I do.
12
PC.
Yeah,
HP 12C. Yeah, it's a technical computer.
Love the 12 HPC, whatever that means. Everybody knows that. Don't let Dr. Lyle near around anything technical. I'll blow it up. No matter how much I care, I try, but no.
No, not everyone is suited for math
yeah.
and managing money. Some people, it's just easy. It's been easy. Both my grandfathers, when I was growing up in Chicago, both my grandfathers were CEOs. I was the first grandson. When I went to Grandpa's house, he went to his desk, because Grandpa's worked all the time, that's how I was raised. They had numbers. They had charts. I just said, what's that? What does this mean? And I was just raised that way. I thought everybody was.
Fascinating.
So I found out later it wasn't.
Yeah, no.
That's what I just assumed, because that's what I knew. That's how I was raised.
That's great. My grandfather was Speaker of the House of Representatives in New Jersey. And Assistant Attorney General and political. My dad was one of Nixon's campaign managers. So I grew up the same way. I just grew up politically. So that's fascinating, Senator. Well, thank you very much for joining us. The Senator will be back over the next year. I think his check will clear because he's a money guy, and he pays me $1.50 so I can go out and get a cup of coffee. Although he says he'll teach me how to get it for $1.25 or something.
You may qualify for the senior discount now. We may have to get you that.
It's my show. You shouldn't say stuff
Oh,
like
no?
that.
Okay.
We'll edit that. No, we won't. People say stuff to me all the time. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for this special edition, which we're calling the Copper State Edition, which we're going to be doing throughout the next year. And the Senator is going to come back, and we're going to discuss more money things and financial things. No technical things. I can't.
Okay.
Not unless you write it down, and I understand it somehow. Thank you so much, Senator, for being here.
Thank you.
And thank you very much for joining us. I'm Lyle Rapacki, reporting for Prescott E! News in Prescott, Arizona. And that's how I see Arizona today.